Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to start a new subject called income tax. So this is just an introduction class regarding the subject. In upcoming days all the content of this subject will be covered. So before knowing about income tax, first we should have the knowledge about the tax. Tax is compulsory contribution made by the assessee to the government. In simple words, assessee is a taxpayer or the person who has the liability to pay tax. Government imposes taxes on activities like enjoyment, expenditure, income, occupation, privilege, property, etc. of an individual or organization. So we all know that any government of a country has so many responsibilities towards its country, its citizens, etc. and revenue is required for it. So this revenue is taken by the government in the way of tax. So tax is started to collect from the British government in the 1860 for their temporary requirement of temporary financial requirements. So later on it become a compulsory to every assessee. So the tax is amount collected by the government to fulfill these responsibilities to provide various services to its citizens. Here we have to remember that payment of tax is compulsory. A person directly or indirectly has to pay tax on the services enjoyed by him. Non-payment or evasion of taxes is forbidden by law and it is treated as illegal in our country. Now let us talk about types of taxes. Types of taxes are broadly classified into two types: direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct tax is levied on the income or wealth of a person. Basically these are the taxes which are levied on the personal income or wealth of the person. Direct taxes are those taxes where the impact and incidence falls on the same person only. There is no shifting of burden of taxes to another person. And the main feature of this tax is the burden of tax payment falls on the single person. He cannot shift the burden of payment to another person. Like if a person income is rupees 3 lakh per annum, he becomes liable to pay the tax to the government and nobody else can pay the tax on behalf of him. Example: income tax, corporate tax, gift tax, property tax, etc. Income tax, as I already told in the example, income tax of the person cannot shift to other person. In the same way, corporate tax of the company cannot shift to other person. Gift tax, there is a certain conditions for gift tax. Any tax which is any gift taken by the person which is more than the limit, then he has to pay the tax. Property tax, so there is also a limit for property tax. If the person having more than the limit of the property, then he has to pay the tax for that property what he has. Second type, indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are those taxes where impact and incidence of such taxes falls on the different people. It is opposite of direct taxes. In indirect taxes, the tax burden is paid by same person only. But in indirect tax, the tax burden is the tax burden can be shifted to another person. So here, the person, when he is buying the product from the seller, unknowingly he is paying the tax for that particular product. Example: GST. In GST, while purchasing the product from the seller, the purchaser is paying the tax for the seller by unknowingly, and the seller is already paid the tax while he is purchasing the product. So here the burden of tax paid by the seller and it is shifted to buyer while he is purchasing the product. Second, customs duty. Customs duty is paid at the time of import and export of the products. So when import and export is going on, at that moment the customs duty are paid by the buyer and seller. So when seller is paying the tax, that burden is again shifted to buyer. Third, excise duty. Excise duty is the tax paid by the producer at the time of production of the product. So when he is producing the product, he pay the tax to the government. So again that tax is collected by the producer by selling the product. Let us discuss about objectives of taxation. To generate revenue for financing the expenditure on various plans and government expenditure. As I already told you, government needs revenue to carry on its expenses like construction of roads, dams, infrastructure, etc. It is also has its own fiscal policy. So to meet all the expenses, government collects revenue from public in the form of taxes. To prevent the concentration of wealth in the hands of few persons only. Actually, there is a famous quote that rich becomes richer and poor becomes poorer. So in order to avoid that, the rich person has to pay more tax according to his income, so that income can be collected by the government in the form of taxes and more services can be provided to poor people. So there will be no concentration of wealth in the hands of few rich people only. Third point, to provide the necessary amenities to the common people by utilizing the revenue in the collection of taxes. So government collects the revenue in the form of taxes. It is utilized to provide facilities to common people like subsidies at the time of purchase of agricultural products, cylinders and necessaries of daily life. So this was all about today. If you found it helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.